Hey, Gabriel. Thank you for your patience. I really, really appreciate that. It has been a very, very huge, huge busy time for me. So thank you for your patience. All right. So you've got some situations happening, and it seems the most pressing on your heart and mind is meeting this person who essentially you met in October 2018 with a lot of chemistry, passion, connection, and then things went a bit haywire and you're having some time dealing with this. So let's go ahead and get into this. So the Wheel of Fortune and the Ace of Swords. First off, here, what I'm feeling is there's a necessity for you to not blind yourself from the truth in regard to this situation. I think also in regard to hoping for something to change, you are potentially creating more of a connection to the actual source of the problem itself. When we have to look at things in fullest honesty, it takes a lot for us to be able to accept those things. We can hope for change, we can hope for things to shift, but sometimes if we blind ourselves to the truth of a matter, we continue a pattern, we continue a cycle, whether that be even just within our own selves, something maybe where we are not regarding ourselves in the highest capacity, okay? And this is also about communication. Here, the Ace of Swords also communicates. There is bringing truth, bringing response even, but we have somebody here that's not, they're blocked off, And in a way, it's like I feel in a certain way, okay, what am I picking up? Like you've had to treat this person with kid gloves, or like they require kid gloves to be used with them. Okay. Show me more for Gabriel. You have the Page of Swords. So I don't know if you've been watching her. She might be watching you. But you know what? In regard to this type of communication with somebody being so blocked off, you're dealing with somebody who is immature in the way that they feel, immature in the way that they communicate. It's very difficult for somebody like that to see the multifaceted experience as it unfolds, or allow it to even unfold within a situation. And, it's interesting that you're brought together, just because sometimes these people are catalysts for us to experience ourselves on a deeper level, experience ourselves in a way that we, maybe need to break out of. And this is the exact situation for us to have that healing, where we don't perpetuate these types of cycles. And within that, that's where we have to take our own blindfolds off and look at the past, look at the situations that we've had, look at our, cyclical experiences in life in regard to how we disconnect, how we don't communicate our truth, how we don't engage, how we don't make things happen with clarity. And I feel, in a way, I read your email, that also ties into your family situation. Pardon my coughing and hacking. I don't know why I'm so sore throaty today, or not sore throaty, but frog in the throat. Show me more for Gabriel, please. So you have Judgment here. So in regard to this person, with her, I feel here this is what you're hoping for. This Page of Cups, an apology, a emotional connection. But again, I want to mention here and look at this. The Page of Cups communicates an energy where we are while it can be an apology or somebody recognizing their feelings or wanting to create a friendship, and I don't know if you're wanting to even just balance this out so you can have a friendship with her, but this person is still emotionally immature. You have the Page of Cups and the Page of Swords here, 2 pages in regard to this judgment. And so what we're doing here is really the necessity is at this point to look into the situation. Do you want to resurrect this? I feel like you want to move away from this. You want to close out this cycle because it's not just this person. This has a ramification within your life. There's a ripple effect here within your life, how you continue to proceed within your life, the things that you do on a daily basis, the things that you hold within yourself, that you cut off from different people. It's like you build up certain situations in your life where you can remove yourself without having to attach, if that makes sense. Yeah, the Judgment card is a card of, it's a card of desire for reconciliation, but it's also a card of using our best judgment, especially in regard to that Page of Cups at the bottom of the deck for that popping out. It's what do we need to do to heal from our situation? What do we need to do to look at this situation and see not only that this person is 18 years your junior, but you're dealing with somebody who's emotionally immature. It's not just within their communication, they're emotionally immature. So when you have those two things combined, what is that telling you? It tells you you're not going to be met on the same level. You can't, sometimes we can't expect things from people when they show us that they can't give them. Okay. Show me more for Gabriel. Page of Wands. So again, this is more youthful energy, more immature energy. This person has decided to walk away from a situation that could have been very nurturing for them, very loving for them, but they chose their own path. And I think in a way here too, there is a depression that comes along with this because it forces you to choose your own path. You have to do the same thing, but with a different heart space, in a different heart space. And I think that is, maybe triggering some things from a long time ago for you. That's my honest feeling. I'm not going to try and tell you a bunch of bullshit. Like where in your life, especially as a younger person, where in your life, not just a child, but in your teens, even in your early 20s, where in your life have you felt disconnected from people, not able to communicate properly, where things are just, you have blockages in regard to your communication and the communication with others, how they treat you. Again, I keep getting this feeling like the things that you say build up a certain level of like wall or disconnection. And what it does is it perpetuates this disconnect from other people. And so it's like, while you're trying to connect with this person, it's almost as if it's showing you the disconnect that you need to heal within yourself. God, I hope that makes sense. At the bottom of the deck, you have the Eight of Swords. This card is essentially somebody who is having a difficult time getting out of their mind, getting out of their thought process in regard to a situation. Somebody who needs to be, stepping away from the problem, because sitting in it just essentially creates you to cycle more and more and more into it. But what happens with this particular card is the energy is focused more so on where we it's like we create storylines. We think, oh, well, if I had done this, then maybe this outcome, and it becomes this elaborate situation. Or maybe if this person had done this outcome, you create these storylines in your head and in your thinking. And what that does is actually creates connections to the heart, because it feels like you are missing something, or then you did wrong, because you're programming yourself. Look at the situation for what it was and try not to force it to be a certain way, or try not to create these types of storylines and situations in your head, because you start to build up, you give them life, essentially. You need to be careful about that. So yeah, now you have the Nine of Pentacles. So the Nine of Pentacles essentially communicates an energy where we are choosing to be alone, where we choose to go alone on our own, because this is something that is far more fruitful, far more engaging. We get to commit to things that we want in our own lives, in our own right. We make sure that the things that we are doing solidifies our potential, our growth, our work. You know, this is you having to leave this situation, even just by paperwork. You know, the bureaucracy that you mentioned. This is about leaving it. You know, but here we are also upset about having to leave this person behind. If you look, there's a male here walking away from a female here, you know. But this talks about travel. It talks about going away in in regard to this person. This is communicating to me the difference between geographical situations as well. You know, I feel like you've had to leave this person on their own turf. But here, I want to mention this glove is on here. It's holding the hawk. It's off here. It's on the ground. By moving away from this situation, you no longer have to deal with somebody whom you have to wear those kid gloves with, wear those, where you're looking at this situation and having to accommodate for somebody's inconsistencies, their emotional immaturity, all of that. You know, it's like by removing yourself from the situation, you inadvertently give yourself the opportunity for more. It gives you time to cultivate what you want in your life, okay? So moving forward, you have the Fool, which is wonderful. It's a new beginning. It's change. It's essentially where we are accepting what has been and utilizing it for our best, you know, our best interests, our best knowledge, our best foot forward, you know, in regard to the direction that we're going in. This is a hard path to deal with here, just because I think it's not just letting go of this person, but also of the inconsistencies or the, I guess, boundaries, borders, blockades that maybe have been put up in your previous experiences with people in your life. The Fool communicates stepping forward into something new. But I think even in that regard, you know, you may need to want to cultivate yourself a little bit more in the things that you're doing, just so you feel better stability. I know that you say you work for the government. That sounds like a fairly stable job. But there's something else here that needs to be done. It's not just about making money. It's also about really cultivating the things that make you happy, finding other outlets for yourself that bring you joy, bring you happiness, feeling secure in yourself, you know, really being able to step into a new way of thinking, a new way of experiencing your life, and knowing that you did it for yourself. A lot of that is going to come. You're on that path, but a lot of that is going to come when you're able to walk away from this, because we have to realize that trying to hold on to this situation, even though this person may be immature in their connection with you, the way that they communicate, the way that they emote, it's also immature for you to long to go back to this. The Fool here, oftentimes the Fool is about to walk off of a cliff. Here, he's already walking off. He's already stepped off of the cliff. He's holding on by a thread. He's smelling the rose. The roses are... Roses are connection to love, their connection to hope. It's almost as if here it's like we're blinded by love. You know, we've already stepped off the cliff and we're wanting more of that. But what happens if we're just living on a hope? You know, you've got no stability here. You have no stability in regard to this situation. Don't perpetuate that, okay? Yeah, no, the world. The world is finality. The world is learning from our lessons, being honest with ourselves. You know, you start out with a Wheel of Fortune, which is a card of dealing with significant cycles, you know, patterns in our life where we may be attached to people that are, you know, just flat out going to disregard us, going to create a block within our lives in the connection to them, but we still choose them. On some base level, we are not being honest with ourselves in regard to this person. Now, I'm not somebody that is about the twin flame thing. You know, there's so many different readers that are, you know, on the path of the twin flame, you know, connection. And well, I think that that is, I don't know. I think it brings false hope to people. What I have learned and what I've experienced in my own relationships, you know, which I have had many, I have been in many abusive relationships, not physically, maybe one, but, you know, when people disconnect from you, when people disregard you entirely, you know, and flip to that 180 type of complete Jekyll and Hyde type of situation with you, the old switcheroo, pay attention to that, trust that, believe that, you know, believe what they show you, because they're showing you their true selves. You know, oftentimes when people are scared, they still communicate. You know, they still want to communicate. I feel here by holding on to this situation, you don't give yourself the opportunity to see the truth for the matter, but you also, in a certain way, by holding on to it, you blind yourself from the things that you need to heal from the past. Whatever, I keep feeling this situation in regard to communication with you and the people, and you clearly stated that in your write-up for me. You've been estranged from your family since 2013. You haven't spoken to your daughter in 4 years. So what is the disconnect? Because it can't just be them, you know. What is the disconnect? Where is that for you? What do you need to do to heal about it? What do you need to do in regard to healing your emotions, your communication patterns? Because we mirror the people that we experience in our lives. You know, this person, this woman that you've met, in a way, she's getting to mirror you to bring it to light. It's not just about the pattern of, you know, this person doesn't want me, I feel cast out, you know, I need to learn self-healing and, you know, my self-worth. Yes, that's an aspect of it, but it's also mirroring the connections within people and how we shut off, how we disconnect, how we don't communicate fully. Even if it is tumultuous, even if it is, you know, difficult to deal with on their part, you're still part of that connection. Where's the disconnect happening for that? I feel like this is multifaceted here. Show me the Wheel of Fortune for Gabriel. So you have the 10 of Swords here, okay, which is great. And underneath that, you have the 8 of Cups. With this energy here, Gabriel, what I'm feeling is you're leaving the 9 of Swords behind, this mental anguish. 9 of Swords talks about mental anguish, sleepless nights, not being able to rest from a situation, just holding on and just having it plague your mind. Here, we're wearing red. We've got our red boots on. We have a red cloak on. Red, especially red clothing, in tarot can often denote an energy of high levels of wisdom that we gain through an experience, that we gain from an experience. So we're also stepping away with a sword in our side. The Ace of Swords, the Ace of Truth, the Ace of Clarity. When we apply that, when we accept the situation, when we take off the blindfold, we can hit our target, we can hit our mark, you know, but we have to be honest with ourselves in regard to what it is that we've been holding on to, what it is that we've been cycling through. This just isn't a person. This is also the connections that you have with your previous partners, your family, the situations where you disconnect. I'm sorry, I keep feeling that, so I'm going to say it. At the bottom of the deck here, you have the 8 of Cups. So again, wearing that red cloak, moving away from things, but I do want to mention he's still drinking that. You know, this is essentially, for me, It's like by staying in this emotional, cups represent emotions, by staying in this emotional situation, even though you know you have to walk away. Eight of Cups talks about walking away after recognizing that what we put into a situation does not yield what we want out of it, and by understanding that we have to let go. Because essentially, if we don't, we are being deceptive to ourselves. The moon is in the background. The moon talks about deception. Here, it's personal deception. Here, I feel that it is emotional instability, where we're not really able to look at ourselves for what's going on. And then we also, through that emotional aspect of ourselves, we cloud our judgment, we cloud our thinking. We still want to be, drinking of this cup of love energy. I know that that sounds so cheesy, but by drinking this cup, it's like we still want to imbibe within those emotional connections. We haven't really quite let them go, even though what we're doing here is needing to let go. The Seven of Cups at the bottom here. Seven of Cups represent options, potentials, directions that our lives can go in, but they have a resounding effect, when we finally do choose one. And so it's like, pick your path, but choose wisely, because it's going to change your life in some significant ways, And I think here we're still holding on to this past. We haven't quite moved on yet, but it's coming, okay? Show me the Ace of Swords here for Gabriel. Yeah, you have to have the Two of Wands to do this as well. So here we have the Two of Wands. We have this energy between choosing the world, choosing a path that we've already been on. What do you want to do? Choose the world. Choose the things that are at your fingertips. Choose the things that actually make sense to you. It's interesting too. This person is being watched as well. And I don't know if you're watching this woman or not, or if you have any type of connection. It might just be your emotion, your connection to her that's very heavy, that feels like it's looming. But you need to let it go. You need to choose a different path. This person that you've dealt with has chosen a different path. They have chosen something completely different, and they will do that. And that is where they need to be. But it feels like for you, you need to be honest in regard to how you want to go about changing your situation, changing the patterns within communication, not being so shut off, extending yourself, and walking away from that type of turmoil. That's the biggest point here. Walking away from that type of turmoil, first by accepting it, then enacting connections, creating connections, and moving away from the problems, healing the situations. And this goes back to your family as well. Okay. The bottom of the deck, you have the Six of Swords. This is moving away from problematic situations, moving away to calmer waters. Here we have a mother, a father, and a child. Again, a reference to your family. Whatever choppy seas, choppy waters you've been dealing with in regard to your family, this needs to be healed. Even if we do have emotional imbalance, even if we do have immature communication, this needs to be remedied, okay? So with the Page of Swords, I am going to leave it like this as well, but I'm going to read it all ways for you. The Page of Swords, the Ace of Wands. I feel the Ace of Wands is picking up on this Page of Swords energy for sure. With this, in regard to the Page of Swords, this is about communication. It's moving forward. Even if you do have an immature communication, or if you're dealing with people who communicate immaturely, this is all about creating more, creating new balance, bringing forth a connection, giving an olive branch. That's what this references, extending an olive branch here, okay? Maybe some of it has burnt away. Maybe problems have happened where it just burned the bridge, but now there's new growth here. Communicate, communicate with people. Halfways, This is being on the fence about communicating, being on the fence about starting anything new with somebody, not giving them any type of movement. It's still a level of being in our head about that type of energy. In reverse, there's no desire to do it. There's no connection. There's no passion. There's no desire to heal whatever it is. There's no olive branch. I'm putting it upright because I feel that that's where it resonates most. Here at the bottom of the deck for that, you have the Nine of Cups. Now, this Nine of Cups is very different. The Nine of Cups communicates happiness, wish fulfillment, satisfaction, emotional connection with people that we love, Here, we're pouring water into the cups, okay? We're pouring water into that energy. It's filling the cups. The cups represent, again, emotion, love, connection. Do you see the children in the back with this father? He's pouring the connection back in. He's pouring the emotional connection back in. It's a cup of love. Now, I hate that term, the cup of love. Everybody thinks, oh, I'm receiving the cup of love. It's an emotional connection. It's an extension of your emotional self to somebody in regard to healing. The cups, the Ace of Cups is a card where we are emotionally healing. We're, again, that olive branch where we're trying to extend ourselves to make things better. You can't control the other person's outcome, in regard to how they treat you. But to make the effort to heal and build that bridge again, that's something where I feel is very important here. The essence of this card in many ways is to create a connection and reestablish things with those who we love, who we have emotional connection with. It's being on the same page with people that we can trust, things that we want in regard to the relationships that we carry, things that bring satisfaction, being on the same page with somebody and knowing that we can come to them and express our truth, our love, being able to express that and feeling satisfied and knowing that we're not going to be turned away. I can't guarantee that they're not going to turn you away, but giving them the option of communication, especially in regard to the healing process that it will bring to you, is something that is very important. Show me Judgment. For Judgment. Yeah, this is where it is. Needing to heal the situations, needing to understand what it is that you're moving forward towards. Here at the bottom of the deck, now you have the Fool. Now he's on sure ground, and he's about to pick that flower and give it to somebody new. This is a new love energy. This is a new connection. This is healing old connections here, pouring water back into the cup, filling what we have tossed out. Cups represent emotions, feelings, the deep well of emotions and love that we have towards people. The cup is obviously empty if he's filling it back up. But look at the children back there. It's like they want that, people want that. That is part of this Judgment as well. That is utilizing your best understanding in the situation, changing what has happened here, changing the direction that you've experienced life in to this point and the connections that you have with the people that you're with, stop. Okay. How do I say that? Stop turning your back on your own stop turning your back on your own immature communication. Okay. So you have to face that. There's something here where you have to face about communication. I don't know what this is in regard to your situation with the people that you've had in your life, your family. I don't know why you're estranged from your family, but I feel that there's a disconnect from the emotions and the drive to communicate. I don't know what that's about, Gabriel. It needs to be reestablished, though. You need to start opening up your heart, opening up the energy between people. Perhaps it's time to reconcile. The Fool at the bottom of the deck communicates new beginnings. And I don't know if these people are going to be upset with you. I don't know. It feels like there might be some frustration in regard to that, some combative energy. But the offer is being extended. That's what it feels like. The offer needs to be extended. That love needs to be reestablished and extended. When hurt happens, people work out of their base. They work out of the little lizard mind, their base emotions, where they they react. That's what I'm feeling. It's reactionary. That's what I'm feeling. And sometimes it's not pleasant, but especially like with animals, and I'm not saying your families are animals, but the energy that I'm picking up is like, it takes, I used to rehabilitate and work with abused animals, okay, and animal neglect situations. I worked for the city of Los Angeles Police Department division with their animals situation. And I used to rehabilitate a lot of these bait dogs and people who would abuse dogs and cats and whatever. It takes a while for that trust to be built. It takes a while for that connection to be established or reestablished. But when it is, you have a new type of bond. You have a new type of loyalty that can happen within the connection. And sometimes it's just a connection where they can now be touched, where they can now be accessed, even though they pull away and do their own thing. But either way, that nurturance, that giving energy was given to that situation, and it heals things. It heals things. Show me the Page of Wands for Gabriel. Yeah, so this is the Six of Cups. So the Six of Cups essentially is a card of children. It's a card of family. It's a card of being happy within your family, a card of people from your past, family members. Leaving this situation here with this person in the background and moving towards your family. I think honestly, Gabriel, that this is the energy that needs to happen more so than anything. I know that this woman has been a very, very deep part of your healing, but also a very tumultuous aspect of that healing. It hasn't felt good. And I think it's important to be honest about that. You know, I feel that you're trying to get out of this as much as possible, but please don't let the disregard from this person rule your experience. You know, that's more of an indication of who they are and what they maybe have experienced in life as well, where they disconnect, shut off, you know, and don't communicate with people. That's not true. It weighs heavy on you, but it's not your fault. Okay. That's what I'm feeling with the Six of Cups here and the Page of Wands. This again, this wand is this wand. It's that bridging the olive, sharing the olive branch, you know, extending that olive branch, bridging the gap, creation here with your family again. If you can do that, I would suggest doing it. This is a card of also reconciliation as well, but more so a reconciliation with family members. Okay. Here you have a card of reconciliation as well. And I do want to mention here, we have the angel here blowing their trumpet, the angel Gabriel. And we have a mother, a father, and a child in the middle. Again, another reference to your family. You know, I don't know about ex-wives or ex-partners that maybe were the mother of this child of yours, but what's happening is there needs to be a transformation in the energy within you. And that dynamic. I do want to mention here too, with this Six of Cups, at the bottom of the deck came out the King of Pentacles. Now, the King of Pentacles, he is an energy, he's a, you know, earth sign energy, Taurus, Capricorn, Virgo. The sign isn't very important at this time. Okay. Okay, so what is that? So the feeling that I'm feeling in regard to this, first of all, is the woman that you dealt with. This can communicate a very stubborn energy, very stubborn energy. I was feeling like I needed to tie it into you, and I'm going to, because there's another message within that, but I'm feeling this person. There's a very thick stubbornness here. You see the bull there? The King of Pentacles is also represented by the bull. They can be very stubborn in the way that they deal with situations with people, how they trust, how they allow things in. Sometimes that's not going to happen. You could also be dealing with somebody who has very different family values, somebody who has very different connections to how they connect with their family. I don't know if this was a situation where, you know, there was any problems in regard to you and their family, or I feel that this person was just off balance. I don't think that they were I think that they have a history of problems. That's what I'm feeling. Show me the Nine of Pentacles for Gabriel. But with the King of Pentacles here for you, this is about, the King of Pentacles is about being a stable father. The King of Pentacles is a father figure. He's one that nurtures his family. He goes above and beyond for his family to take care of them, you know, whether that be a financial aspect, whether that be, you know, making sure that somebody has a place to live or things to eat. It's often dealing with the physical realm, okay? But it also is somebody who reestablishes stable connections. It's a stable connection with the father energy, with the family. And this just doesn't talk about children. This talks about family altogether. Show me the Nine of Pentacles here for Gabriel. The Nine of Pentacles for Gabriel. So yeah, you've got this Three of Pentacles now. So, and the King of Cups at the bottom of the deck. Excellent. So here we have an energy where we are doing things on our own, where we're solidifying things in our own right for ourselves. Okay. Now we have an energy where we are drawing up plans to create connections with other people. The Three of Pentacles is something where we are connecting with others within the same mindset, within the same mind frame. We want to go further with them. We want to express ourselves with them. We want to build connections and go for the same goals. You know, people working in tandem with each other. This can be family. This can be work, business, you know, propositions, whatever it is. But it's essentially a card of connection, a card of taking an idea and taking an extension and moving it further towards the better good for everybody. And everybody is on board. Now, that seems to happen when you reestablish yourself within yourself. You know, it feels like it can allow this to move forward, allow this to go forward. It feels like this connection, this is cyclical here, going back to the family, connecting, reconnecting. At the bottom of the deck, you have the King of Cups, Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio energy. But the King of Cups is essentially a card of a very loving man, a very loving person. He wants to nurture. He wants to connect with people. If you look, what's on his mind? He's looking up towards that cup. It's like thinking about extending that emotional offer. Thinking about it, thinking about it. But if you look at his bottom, he's sitting on a slab of cement within a sea of emotion. So what is this connection, this disconnection, you know? We need to extend ourselves. Maybe they got rid of you, I don't know. But honestly, I feel like you need to be somebody who tries to remedy this situation, Gabriel. Show me the Fool here. So for the Fool, you have the Queen of Pentacles here. In regard to these new beginnings, going back to the past, this is the Queen of, you have the King show up, now you have the Queen show up. This is essentially Capricorn, Virgo, Taurus, but the energy here is one of stability. I don't know the situation or dynamic with you and this person from the past. I don't know if there was a consideration of money, if money was an issue. It feels like this person is being beguiled by money. I don't know if there's an issue in regard to, because your money or her money, I don't know what that is, but there's some situation here in regard to money and either not trusting it, or going for money, or a situation that provided false stability. We have the Four of Pentacles at the bottom of the deck for that. So this is holding off. This is not letting anything in, not letting anything out. I don't know why. This can also be just a very stubborn person here, the Queen of Pentacles. Oftentimes she's the mother type energy. She is somebody who is a nurturer. She takes care of her family, very much like the King of Pentacles. But here it's like there's this connection in regard to stability that I don't know if this person was having a problem in regard to you and the stability that was being offered. I don't know if they were able to trust it. That may have been why they went haywire. it doesn't sound like you were offering a bunch of bullshit. It sounds like you were offering something fairly stable to a person, but you know, sometimes people don't believe what they have in front of them. Sometimes they don't understand things. Sometimes they just are very stuck in their ways. This is, as I continue to feel this, I'm feeling more of an energy where we're very selfish here. And either it's money driven or like there's a selfishness within the stability of the person. Like they don't want to budge for some reason. Like there's something about them. Like it's not that it's not good enough. It's okay. What came to me was I wasn't captivated in the right way. So I wasn't captivated in the right way. The images that I'm picking up right now are somebody who is, I don't know this person's experience, their history, what it is, but it's like there's a selfishness about this energy, the way that they want to be treated. There's a selfishness about how they want to be treated. It's important to move away from that, Gabriel. Okay, it's important to move away from that. That holds on to, and this is also, I feel like, a childhood thing for them as well. This is a change that they need to go through, but it's going to be on their terms, on their time. It has nothing to do with you. It feels like this is a deep-seated situation from their experience in life, you know, and that type of experience too causes them problems in their life. It causes them not to trust the situations that they've been guided to, you know. It leaves them also feeling like they're, you know, walking around on murky water. They don't have footing, but it causes that. What fell out here too was the Six of Swords. So again, that card popping up, it's talking about letting go of problems, you know, finding calmer, easier waters. But again, here we have this family getting in a boat together. And there's that Ace of Wands again, moving forward. Stars in the background too on land. So this is moving toward, the star represents energy where we're moving towards things that we feel guided towards, okay? So we're trusting our intuition. It's also somebody that can pop up and communicate energy and try and heal a situation, but it's long awaited. It's, you know, there's a long standing situation that needs to be healed and come to. Here, when that is listened to, that's when we get to that other shore. That's where we're able to stand on terra firma, okay? It's where you have footing. This whole reading is about not having sure footing. At the bottom of the deck, you have the Emperor. So the Emperor is often talking about father energy. Yeah, it's a CEO, somebody who works in the government, literally, somebody who, you know, and same with that King of Pentacles, government official, government workers. But this is a card where it's a card of leadership, it's a card of mastery, it's a card of self, moving forward for the self and for the family. You know, this is a very family-oriented card, as well as that King of Pentacles. You had both of them pop up in your energy. This is talking about mending family connections here, okay? The Emperor trusts the direction that they're going in, but they work like hell to make sure that they can support and keep stable the connections within their families. Over his neck, he has a lamb, a white lamb. White lambs essentially represent peace, unity. They are a peace offering. Often it's the sacrificial lamb. The blood is very holy. The blood is very connected to protection. It's protecting those who we care about here. And this Emperor, he looks actually really nice. He looks happy. Most of the Emperors in most decks are total assholes. This guy looks really nice. And I think this is the energy that you might be needing to hold on to, open yourself up to, connect with. That's not the deck. Okay, this is the deck.